When I was 19, I got saved. And so I've been saved for 21 years. My salvation is old enough to drink. um, but before that, I was struggling, scrambling, reaching for something to mean something in my life, something that meant what I thought it would look like to have value or to be a success. I think that's the right way to think about it. This is Fistful of Nails. And then I was raised as a Christian, and I didn't realize until I was 19, while I was on mushrooms, of all things, and that's a whole story we'll go down, a path we'll go down in the future. But when I was saved, I heard the audible voice of God say, I said, in my mind and in my heart, I said, none of this is real, because I was on mushrooms. Obviously, nothing seems real when you're on mushrooms, or it seems hyper real. And I thought, none of this is real, so I must be in control of my surroundings and stuff. And I thought that I was God for a moment. And I heard the audible voice of God say, no. Booming, no. And it crushed me, and it scared the crap out of me. I fled. I literally fled. Not from the voice of the Lord, but from the implication that I wasn't saved. I ran outside. I ran to my neighbor. I was renting an apartment from them, and I ran to them, and they happened to be preachers, a preacher's family, and the wife was downstairs watching TV at like 10:30 at night, asleep on the couch, so not watching maybe. Pounded on the door, and she prayed for me, and that's how I got saved. She prayed for me. I prayed with her. I thought I was saved, realized I wasn't, took the step, got saved. I was always curious about faith. Like I said, I've been raised Christian. I've always kind of thought of myself as a Christian. Like it meant nothing to me. It literally was just a title that you carried, and it informed or influenced how you went about your weekends, really. So after I got saved, I started getting convicted left and right over various things: drinking, drugs, girls, work ethic. I was a lazy bum. And so once I got saved, all these little areas of my life where I was deficient became, they surfaced. I became aware of them. And that's really what the core effect of salvation is. It's being perfected into the future, I believe, by the Lord Jesus Christ, who perfects you. And so you get convicted, and you become aware of all these areas where you've fallen short, and you start to button them up, and you start to work toward this perfect state. No one can be perfect. I believe we're going to get there in heaven, but we work toward it as though it is attainable now, because maybe it is. Who are we to say it's not? It says, be ye perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. I'm starting this podcast because I want to explore some of the topics and themes of the discoveries I've made as a Christian, and as someone who doesn't necessarily love what the church is doing. There's a lot of sickness in the church. There's a lot of, when I tell you I was 19 and convicted, there's a lot of pastors who are 90 and not, and that's really unfortunate, and they're leading a lot of people astray, perhaps. When we talk about culture, faith, I want to talk about things like movies. I want to talk about scary movies. I want to talk about the spiritual content and the context of the films in the time and place that they exist. I think that culture is kind of in this boiling pot of inflection where things can either go really, really, really spiritual and holy and pure and beautiful and saved and to bless a lot of people, or they can go really, really, really dark and hurt and kill and destroy. it's a really interesting time to discover these um, varying opportunities we have in our culture, in our society, in business, in art, especially. I'm passionate about art and story and what it means to tell a story and what it means to heal through story. I think that is one of the more fundamental natures of humanity is storytelling and the ability to use it as a doctor. um, and so I want to explore these things. I want to talk about space. I want to talk about aliens and how they're actually demons. I want to talk about weird conspiracies, and I want to talk about the shadow government that worships Satan out in the open but behind closed doors. I don't know if any of that's real, but would you be surprised if it was? That's the whole point of this show. Fistful of Nails isn't about dismantling the church. It's about healing it and lovingly empowering it to be better. It's not about telling people who don't believe what I believe that they're wrong. It's about telling people who don't believe what I believe and who do to investigate your beliefs and think about them forensically and discover why you believe what you believe. And does it hold water? Is there more to it? If you were to traverse the vast universe and see everything there is in it, spiritual or not, would you come back with the same impression, the same theories, the same beliefs that you have right now? I don't think anyone could say yes to that. So if you're a believer who's tired of being told not to look too closely, the show's for you. If you're a skeptic, if you're an atheist, if you're an agnostic, and you want to hear maybe some confrontation, but also maybe some support, maybe some open-mindedness toward the mystery and the confusion and the doubt. I think this is the right place to do it. If you love stories, if you love movies, if you love books, if you love participating in politics and voting, and if you have a lot of questions about the spiritual world, I don't have all the answers, but I'd really love to investigate them, and I'd love to have you along for the ride. So this is Fistful of Nails. My name's Adam Elliott Davis. God bless you. See you at the next one. Peace.